Is my screen visible? Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, we can see the screen.
We can. Sorry, there was somebody here.
All right. So hi everyone. Basically, this presentation was based on my experience, organizing a lot of events since I love doing that. So we thought, how about we share some of our experience, like on the logistics of organizing events with all of you, and it might help us, plan and organize some of the projects that we have for ER planned. Um, so Yeah, so before I begin, I just want to give an overview of like the three main events that I will be drawing upon for this presentation. So the first was basically in my freshman year at LUMS. This was an online event that was just held recently in January, this January. And it was an online event, and it was basically an investigative journalism event, which means it was sort of like a murder mystery that we had planned, and the people had to solve it step by step. So it was basically an event that was open to kids from O levels and A levels. So we had people from Karachi, from Lahore, from different cities, and since it was an online event, we had people from different cities in Pakistan participate in this. The next event that we had was, it was basically not from any society or college. It was just an independent event that some of the students in my high school, we decided to organize this on our own in high school. Yeah, so this was basically a comic convention in Karachi that was held in Sadr. I don't know if anyone of you have been there, but yeah, this was held in the Pakistan Convention Center, and it was called Shogun Anime and Comic Convention. And the society that organized it, basically, it's just a group of people working independent of any organization, much like this NGO. So it was called Geek Heaven that organized it. The third event that I would be talking about was the consent workshop. These are ongoing virtual consent classes that are being organized by another society in LUMS called FEMSOC, and a sub-department of that that's called Project Zeist. And these are basically open to kids from ages, 8 to 14, and we're trying to teach them important things like how to take consent from people and just how to set boundaries with other people. So I'm not going to be talking about the specifics of each event, but I'll just be talking about how I have learned from my own experience how to basically handle the glitches in any event, and also how to create awareness about an event. So without further ado, let's talk about glitches, especially in an online event, right? So first of all, we have to realize that whenever we're thinking of a project that we want to, organize online, the theme of that event is very important, because not every event can be executed online, even though it can be executed on campus. And so, for instance, for the journalism event that I was talking about, as you can see here on the picture, the event that we went for was glitched. And it was actually a genius idea, because throughout the event, we had so many glitches. Because obviously, when you have like an attendance of over 200 students online, and you're having meetings on Zoom, and you're trying to, manage everyone, there will be people who have maybe like their connection cut. Maybe even the organizers might lose their connection, or something might happen. And so what we did was we used the theme as sort of like a cushion. So anything that went wrong, we said, hey, it's a glitch, let's roll with it. And it actually sort of made the event more, progressive, and made it flow more smoothly. No one really felt that, oh, the organizers are not really skilled, they are not really able to handle the event. In fact, they all felt that any problem or hiccup we had in the event, it was actually planned by us, right? So that is why I'm saying, sometimes when you organize online events, always keep a backup story for if any glitch happens, you can blame it on this. So yeah, that's how it happens. Now, the second idea that I have is proofreading proposals. And this is something that we always do on Trello as well. Basically, whenever we are making our own proposal, we might not see it from different perspectives or lens. So it's good to, always keep it in maybe a Google Drive link that you shared with other people, or maybe in a Trello board, so that everyone else can, simultaneously side by side read your proposal, and that you guys make sure that you don't really miss out anything. So it's always good to make other people proofread your proposal side by side. And yeah, the third point is that no matter what area of the event you are in, whether you are, just based in HR, you're just handling humans, you're just not handling humans, sorry, you're just managing humans. You're just, your task is even just to make cold calls to people, and you have nothing else to do with the design or graphics. It's very important in this age to learn at least some part of video editing or photo editing, because from my experience, honestly, there have been so many times when I had hopes, or I had given some, work to the marketing or design department, and they never really met the deadline. So it was in times like these where I felt, oh, I should, do it on my own. So just try to, maybe in your free time, or maybe, during your summer holidays, try to learn at least the basics of maybe Canva or Shortcut, or Premiere Pro, stuff like that. Because with an event, you have to learn, like organizing events, you have to learn to be a jack of all trades. You have to learn a little bit of everything, and not like rely on just one department for that. And the fourth thing is very important when it comes to live online events. You need to have a proactive approach to trolls, because I'm pretty sure you guys have had your experiences with Zoom classes. होते कि बच्चे, they unmute themselves, and they just say stuff. They start sharing on the screen, they start drawing on the screen with their markers. अगर Zoom पे teacher sharing on करती हैं, there's so many times when people attend an event just to, sort of troll their way around it, just to disturb everyone. So what is very important with such online events is that you need to have at least one committee that is, very proactive. It does not wait for the troll to does what he wants to, or what he or she wants to. They already tell them that these are going to be the consequences if you do this. So with any online live event, always share a document which highlights that if you do this, this is going to be the penalty. Because oftentimes you'll be like, मुझे नहीं पता, the participants are like, मुझे नहीं पता था कि ये होगा, I'm so sorry, I did not know this would happen. So you're supposed to warn them proactively before the event even starts, that this is how you will be dealt with. And another important thing with online events, and I think this might work with our menstruation project as well, is that you have to tell them what content that we are showing them online can they share with others, and what content they cannot. Because oftentimes privacy or copyright वगैरह के मसले होते हैं, so you have to tell them that, this is something that we're sharing with you, but you're not supposed to like maybe take a screenshot and, pass it on to someone else. So stuff like this has to be dealt with proactively. And lastly, for online glitches, you need to ensure that there's no burnout in online events, because let's be honest, no one wants to sit in front of a screen, especially for, those events that go on for like days and days. You have to make sure you have like some fun activities throughout the event. Like these are called social events. So these can be like even simple things like playing Among Us or Scribbler, or uh, just basically any activity that not only is not is it's not only just for the participants, but also for like the event managers. They can also, make sure that they don't get burnout while planning the event. Okay, so this was basically the generating awareness wall part. And so I think the best way to create awareness about your event is to collaborate, because when you collaborate with, for example, another organization, like for instance, now we're looking for organizations to collaborate with for the mirror. What we get is that we get a pool of their audience or their followers as well. So we don't really have to focus that much on marketing. But we also have to make sure that whenever we collaborate or we get sponsors for an event, they have to be linked to our event. We don't just get sponsors that जो भी हमें, anyone is giving us money इसको हम ले लें, नहीं. We have to make sure that they are reflecting our event. For instance, like for this Comic Con, we had this collaboration with Yoshi's, and not just like Pizza Hut or McDonald's, but like Yoshi's, because Yoshi's is a food place that sells that, basically gives food for East Asian cuisines. So it was very sorry, it was very reflecting to our own event. Basically उनको भी थोड़ी सी PR मिल गई, हमें भी थोड़ा सा PR मिल गया, so it did not seem out of the place. The second thing that we have to care about is recognizing which platform is our main target audience. And I think this is something that right now we are not really aware of, and we should be. For instance, for like this Society the Geek Heaven, the whole Comic-Con thing, we needed to know like can you guess which platform, like Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn or Twitter, which would be like a main platform in the chats? Can you guess?
Reddit.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Reddit.
Did you say Reddit?
Yeah.
No, for an event. I think Reddit पे usually people इससे जाते हैं because they want to read all those जो क्या कहते हैं उनको threads होता है. Yeah, Farishta and Mahina, right? Instagram is like the main platform for our event. It was because you have cosplayers, you have merch stores. All of these people, they usually have a very strong base on Instagram. So what they wanted was, whenever we would market our event, we would tag them so that people, you can say, basically giving them clout so they would come to our event. So this whole concept of tagging the person in your post, it's very in nowadays. So you can use that to get people to come to your platform. But honestly, if you had an event which was maybe like our own menstruation project event, right? Marketing on Instagram is okay, but I think what would be a better platform for us would be those Facebook groups that we have, which are a very good way for marketing feminist events. Because on Instagram vagera, these really don't get that much attention, but you have some closed groups like Soul Sisters or Women in Power. You have groups like these where you market your event, and it's more likely to get more recognition. So yeah, you basically have to realize कि कौन से platform पे मेरे event को ज़्यादा audience मिलेगी, and उसी event पे you can sorry, market on other platforms as well, but that is the one platform that you have to focus on. And the third thing is that when you're having an event, always have countdowns to it. And I think again Instagram is like a brilliant way to do this because it has all those, the countdown story jo hoti hai, you can use that to sort of generate hype building up to that event, which is very important. And again, I think this could help us maybe with our cookie and book wali jo idea hai. You need to have brand ambassadors for specific areas in Karachi. If you're having if you're having basically a physical event and you want people to attend it, it's very difficult to give tickets to everyone or spread awareness about it to everyone if there are no brand ambassadors. So basically allocating brand ambassadors for like specific areas in Karachi where the people can go to them not only to get tickets but also to get like awareness ke what is happening, or if they want to set a stall they can go to the brand ambassador and contact us through them. That is like a more efficient way of getting things done. um so yeah, wait, then yeah, so this is something that I actually added this slide after yesterday's task when we were told to make a video, and I saw these really interesting stats. So I think at this point everyone should know what SEO friendly is. Does anyone here know what SEO friendly is? They can unmute their mics to speak.
I know what SEO is.
I
Not right.
also know.
Yeah, you go ahead. Sorry, I
Me?
can't speak. Yeah.
Okay, so SEO is search engine optimization,
Yes.
and basically it's an algorithm for that works for Google. And the more the keywords that we have on our content, it gets optimized and comes up on the Google searches a lot, and SMI marketing वगैरह, मतलब reach, we basically increase our reach through that.
There was someone, right, who was speaking.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Suman, for that explanation. You gave a better explanation than me. But yeah, so SEO friendly is basically, as Suman said, search engine optimization. And it's very important now that when we think about making our videos, when we think of making our blogs, especially, and any caption even on Instagram or Facebook post, we need to think about what keywords are we adding into it, because हम जितना भी खूबसूरत event जितना भी खूबसूरत content बना लें, as long as Google is not recognizing it, as long as Google or Yahoo is not, showing it to other people on their search engines, we will not get any traction. Basically an empty event. So always remember that we have to make sure, yeah, content writing is also all about SEO. I saw Maham and Suman also, you guys do content writing. So you guys know about this more than me. But yeah, basically you need to make sure that traffic ho, people actually search it on their, for example, people search period projects in Pakistan. And we want to make sure that our blog or our Instagram page or our, project basically shows up first or at least second on the Google page, right? Otherwise, nobody will click on our site. So these are some stats that I found just yesterday when we were making the video script. So interestingly, 85% of Facebook videos and many other videos, they're viewed without sound. And this is why it's very important to have subtitles in your video. Because half of the times, I think हम लोग सब छुप के अपने parents से देख रहे होते हैं videos या सब सो रहे होते हैं हम लोग videos देख रहे होते हैं, and that's why we just read the subtitles. So that's why if you want more people to watch your video, have subtitles. Also, sorry, I don't know why 55%, it said it was 85. So yeah, another thing is that video is more likely to get ranking than plain text results. So instead of focusing too much on just, blogs, I know blogs are important too, but whenever you market, be it on Insta or Facebook or whatever, you need to make a video as well, because people are more likely in this age to view videos than to read. The sad truth of today's life. And yeah, the last thing is that more than half basically of all the world's online traffic comes from mobile rather than from desktops. So whenever you're making, for example, the Mirror site or maybe any online project you guys are making that you want other people to see, just make sure that your visuals, the thumbnail or the orientation of your text on and the illustrations on the page, it's easy to be read on a mobile, so that more people who will be reading on mobile do not feel like it's toward disoriented. I hope you guys got that point. I was so bad at explaining that, but yeah, basically, is it clear?
Yes, 100%. Keep going.
Okay, so this is like one of the last things that I want to talk about regarding the consent classes. And this is something that's very, very important. I think Mariam was also talking about this, the taboo that we have with certain events. And this goes for our period project as well. We have to make sure how we market an event to a close-minded audience. Because हमें अच्छा लग रहा होगा, we're like, yeah, we want to talk about periods openly. Yes, we do want it. But how will we get people to come to that event if they feel like, oh, ye kisi baat ho gayi, it's so taboo, we want to come to this event, right? So you have to make sure that our marketing reaches all sorts of people. So for an example, I'll give you for our consent classes, right? We were talking about physical consent and sexual consent. But honestly, if you were to write on our post that these are consent classes, nobody would send their kids or siblings to our classes. So what we did was we basically marketed them as communication classes, right? And we said that these are the psychological implications if your child does not know how to communicate with others. So instead of that scientific jargon and like more professional jargon, we marketed our consent classes, and that is what made more people willing to send their younger children or younger siblings to us. So the next thing that we have to keep in mind is we have to change our style depending on the platform. Again, this is very important. I mean, you might notice when you post something on Facebook, and if you post the same thing on Instagram, it's very different. For instance, on Facebook, the text comes first and then comes the illustration. So for Facebook, your caption has to be extra captivating. The kind that makes you stop scrolling and look at the text, and then they will see your pictures. So your text has to be the attention grabber. And on Instagram, obviously, the pictures are the one that is going to capture the attention. So on Instagram, you focus on the visual aspect of it, right? You go wild with the whole digital art and stuff. So you can have the same message, you can have the same post, but you have to change your style depending on the platform. And like I said, if you're going to use, groups, Facebook groups for our marketing, for our paid project, we also have to make sure that, someone who is in that Facebook group, they know how it works in that Facebook group. And that's why they're better to, market that event according to the people. Yeah, and the last thing that on this side is that you have to engage audience through polls, questions, and share stories from the event. Again, I don't use any other platform that much, but yeah, Instagram is really good for this. It has those this or that polls, and also you can ask them questions. And a really great idea that I could give you at this point is a lot of people just use these features after your event has been planned. But a tip I will give you is that when you're planning your project or event, make sure that you engage your audience not only in the event itself, but also in the planning of the event. You can take suggestions from them that what is it about periods that you want to know. Anonymous submissions होती हैं Instagram stories पे, so that's a great way that people will respond to us. For like our consent classes, this is what we did. We asked our students or basically people, what would you want your younger siblings or kids to know? And then we got the suggestions, and then we incorporated that into our whole, curriculum. So that's a great way that you can use these features to, know what basically people want to know. So this is just a style that I want to show. Okay, you have to change your style depending on your platform. On this side, we have more of like the logical side of it. Like we had a pie chart, we had some facts that we took from surveys, we had some quotes from famous people. And this was basically, I would say, the boomer marketing that we do. So this is what we posted on mainly on Facebook groups. And basically, where more older people were likely to see it, because they were like, oh, it's scientific. Okay, then I'm sending my children to these classes, right? And on this side, this is something I made. So we had basically, the pamphlet idea that we had, I think Mahin had. This is what we did for the consent classes. We basically made these small cards, we printed them out, and it was like, Disney princesses or Disney actors, how they should learn consent. So we taught kids through these kind of, fun cards. And this again was another post that I made for Instagram. As you can see, the text has to be very large in the picture, because they're more likely to see the picture than to read the caption on Instagram. Yeah. And the last, and I think the, what do you call it? The icing on the top. This is I think my biggest tip that I can give. Does anyone know what FOMO is?
Fear of missing out.
Yes, I know. And I struggle with it a lot.
Yes, great. I think fear of missing out. Yeah.
Fear of missing out, yes.
I think in quarantine especially, we're very accustomed to constantly experiencing FOMO. But yeah, I'll give you a tip for when you're organizing an event. You also have to learn how to create FOMO, especially if your target audience is millennials or Gen Zs like us. We hate the idea that there's something interesting happening and we are not part of it. And you really want to become a part of it, right? So what good marketing event planners, what they do is that they intentionally create FOMO for an event to get people to come to it, right? So here's the fatal flaw that most of the event organizers or planners do. Once the event is live, right? For instance, for this PED project, once we've got the sponsors, once we've got participants for the classes, we're just gonna stop marketing it. We're gonna be like, "Haan, ab to ho gaya, ab to log aa rahe hain. What's the need to market it anymore?" I would say no, especially when the event starts. That's when even a huge chunk of your marketing starts. You have to show people what they're missing on. So for instance, for this, the communication classes that we had, we basically shared throughout the classes whatever was going on, not whatever was going on, but snippets of it. And also the exciting highlights of it. We would share it regularly on Instagram, the highlights. So people could see and, feel, oh, I'm missing out on this. Sometimes people feel this project is going to be a flop, but then they see, oh, this actually is something that's very successful. And then they want to get in on it. So the same thing happened even with our Comic-Con. I remember initially we just had like over 400 tickets, right? There were 400 people attending. And then what we did was we did a live Facebook live jo hota hai of the whole event. And then we got like 100 more people who came and they bought tickets on the spot. The same with the communication classes, we had like ample of people coming in, but once we started, showing these stories and sharing the moments from our stories on from our classes on the stories, a lot of other people started signing up the form and they joined us midway the communication classes. So never think that this is the end point of my marketing. Always keep your marketing going and basically create FOMOs that people feel, oh no, I'm missing out on this. Oh, I want to join in on this. And that's how you will get more and more people to join for your event. So I was thinking like, for maybe the cookie and bake sale, if we have it, maybe initially a lot of people might not come. But if we constantly keep sharing our moments with the whole bake sale online, then we can get more people to join in even midway through it. So yeah, this was the end of my very long session. Sorry for rambling on. Yeah, if anyone has any questions or anything, please ask.
Thank you so much for that. Can you hear me? I'm sorry for the background noise, but like, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. Thank you so much for this session, Maheen. I think everybody here has learned a lot of things. It validates a lot of things, a lot of strategies that we're trying out for the program, the menstrual hygiene thing, and plus like it opens a lot of avenues for a lot of people here working on different marketing elements of the program. Okay, so like Suman and Cheyenne, you guys really have to take notes when you talk about like when you're doing the written content part, and same cases for everybody else who's doing in marketing. ठीक है तो like जब माहीन and Mariam वो infographic design कर रहे हैं तो उसके अंदर basically you have to place all of those elements. I think it was an amazing session. Thank you so much for taking the time out for it. Now we only have 4 minutes left for in this meeting, in this Zoom meeting. तो हम लोग अभी करते ही हैं कि let's